Hello and welcome to this Smartsheet Dashboard tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can build your own dashboards in Smartsheet. Now I've opened up my trial account. Now unfortunately I use Smartsheet in my organisation on a daily basis, and I've built some impressive dashboards, but due to GDPR and other data confidentiality issues, I can't share those with you today. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to build a dashboard from scratch. That's probably where you're at the moment. You're not sure how to get started, what you need to do, and how to kind of pull together a visual dashboard or one that's beneficial for your stakeholders. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I actually go into the dashboard functionality itself, I do just want to show you what's kind of possible, to give you a kind of idea of what to expect. And what I've done here is I've just opened up the Solution Center. So I've clicked on the left-hand side. And before this, I started recording, I selected one of the template sets that provides me with various different templates. I believe it's a project plan. And it also provides me with a pre-populated dashboard. So that's all I did is I clicked here, click projects. I selected one of the template sets and I clicked kind of create or use from one of those. So when I go into my browse, this is why you'll see here, I've got this template set here. So this is what was kind of created from that Solution Center. So if I click into the dashboard, here is a quick overview of what you can kind of expect from a dashboard. Obviously, one of the benefits of Smartsheet is that they are, it's a completely blank canvas, and you can create a dashboard to your needs, or you can provide or put on there any kind of data that you're looking to show. So you can have various dashboards for different stakeholders and for different needs. So here it's obviously, this is more of a template which you can, you could work from one of these templates and just edit and alter it to fit your needs. But that's just an idea of what you can kind of do in terms of the visual element. So this is just shows you, you can have tables, you can have, I think these are reports, but you can have that kind of visual, a more data approach here with the tables, or you can have your metrics where it provides you with your high level figures, if you like. So what I'm now going to do, in the interest of time, I did create another folder, and what I've done here so far is I've created two different sheets. So we have the data sheet, and all I've done here is I've pulled in some kind of dummy data that we're going to be using to create our dashboard. I've also created a calculation sheet, which you'll see at the moment is blank. Now, the reason for this is because dashboards what you need to do in Smartsheet is you basically need to analyze your data, and you can do that with various different formulas, which are called functions in Smartsheet, but you need to almost summarize your data before you display it onto a dashboard. So on dashboards, you can pull data directly, but let's say you wanted a percentage of all of, say the items. You wanted a percentage of all the pencils out of all the items. You'd need to do a formula that did that first in order to be able to display it on the dashboard. So that's a quick kind of caveat. I'll show you what I mean as I kind of work through this. So that's what the calculation sheet is for. But to create a new dashboard, you'd obviously go into your workspace or your sheet or folder where you want to create it. You can, from there, you can either click on the create button, top right, and you would create a dashboard or portal. Alternatively, you can right click and you can click dashboard portal with the left. Now, another thing to just quickly mention is a portal. So this is kind of new or relatively new Smartsheet terminology, and what a portal essentially does is it essentially provides you with a place to put various different links. So you might want to create almost and you can set that portal as your kind of homepage, if you like, but you could put all of your most important links or resources on that portal. So imagine a portal, you walk into it and kind of get to somewhere else. that's the concept behind a Smartsheet portal, is that instead of it just displaying data and key bits of information for your stakeholders, it could actually be a resource that's used to get to where you need to go. And it's kind of an alternative way to use this kind of browse functionality. But let's get started with creating a dashboard. So as you'll see, I've created a new dashboard. It's completely blank. And you've got a little video here that you can watch if you wanted, which gives you some insight into what's kind of possible as well. Now, first and foremost, I've saved this in my kind of sheets area. No one can see this, so I will need to share this with some other stakeholders or users of Smartsheet if I wanted people to see it. But it all starts with what are called widgets. Now, you click Add Widget, believe it or not. And what happens here is there are various different types of widgets to be aware of in Smartsheet. So what I like to do at the start is give your dashboard a title. So I mean, a great benefit of the Smartsheet dashboard is that it's a drag and drop, and you use the kind of corners to make the widgets as big or as small as you like. So what I always like to do first and foremost is add a title at the top, and I'm going to give it a name. So I would call it dashboard tutorial just for this kind of for this demo today. However, you could put anything in here. So this could be project A, then you could put the type of implementation or work that your organization is doing. Or the client, for instance. So let's say the client is myself. So we'll back that there. And one of the the great benefits as well is that so in the top right hand corner, if you click the three little buttons, you have the options to kind of you can copy it, you can paste it, or you can edit or even delete if you didn't want it. So that's there. So we've got that in place. So we've got our title. Next up, I'm going to start adding some of the other widget types. Now I'm actually going to save this. So yeah, whenever you want to save your dashboard, make sure you do hit save. And when you do so, that's going to pull you into the kind of the visual view of the dashboard. You know, what it would look like if someone was to open it up, not in the editable view. So I'm going to go back into the edit in order to make the changes, and these kind of little squares just make it really easy to navigate. And if you're really I've done this before, but if you're really kind of pernickety, you can almost count the squares as well to get things exactly in the middle. It's it depends how it depends how you are. It might not be I might not have that much time, but that's some of the things I kind of do. Anyway, we're going to add an image now. So sorry, I probably did that too quick. I've clicked Add Widget, and I'm going to add an image. Now this can be great for various different reasons. It could be, you can create a diagram, you could have your company logo, it can be any image that you save as a JPEG or a PNG, I believe, and I think there's a few other file types supported as well. So what you would do is right click at the top, click edit, I'm going to select an image, and then you have these various different options. So you can upload from a computer, you can use your Google Drive, you can get it from Dropbox or even your OneDrive. So absolutely brilliant there. You would just select it and then select it through your local drive or one of those different places. So I'm going to put that top right. I'm going to hit save. So, okay, so I've tried to hit save. So here's a good example. So because it's not completed, it's saying that, these widgets need setup before we can save it. So I'd need to go back into here and I would need to add that image. I'm not gonna hopefully I don't give away too much here, so here we go. So we've got my logo here. So I've given that a title. At the same time, you can remove that. When you edit the widget, on the right hand side you've got title, so you can remove it by clicking that little button there, or you can show it, and then you can change all of your different styling as well. And then you've got different widget behaviors as well. So this is one thing that's really, really good. So what you could have here is this could be a diagram, and you could set it up to have a link so that when somebody clicks the link, or sorry, clicks the widget, it takes them through to another resource. So for instance, this could be a link to your internal organization's internet or intranet site. So that's one really kind of good thing to do here. So all you would do, or alternatively, you can open up another Smartsheet item so it could go through to the data source itself. Really handy stuff. So just for memory, top three buttons, top right, edit, and then you basically go through the options on the left hand side. So as I say, click those and then basically go through the different process steps. So we've got that here. So we're shaping up. We've got a nice logo. We've got our title. Next up, so I'm going to add, so another thing to add is rich text. So rich text, the way to imagine that is it's free text. You can put whatever you like here. So if you want this to be static, so remember that free text will need regular updating because you're not pulling it through from another datasheet or an area of Smartsheet where you might be updating it. So the only thing you really want to use rich text for is something that isn't going to change. So I'm going to put in here, for instance, dashboard description. This is a dashboard for the, I'm actually going to be lazy and I'm going to copy and paste that. The project proper project management demo on YouTube. And I've hit return there. I need to do that. And you can change your styling option. So I want that bold. I want that bit bold. Want it a little bit bigger. It's quite hard to read. So I'm going to go on the formatting bar at the top. I'm going to make that 20. I'm going to pull that down. Actually, I don't like the look of the title, so I'm going to remove the title. I don't think that looks particularly good. But I like the rest of the formatting. You know, let's make this red. That's the kind of branding on YouTube. It has that kind of red. And let's put that in indent. Not bold, indent. Perfect. So there we go, starting to shape up. So that's rich text. You can change that anytime you like, but as I say, you have to go into the edit, top right, edit, and you know, to change the title. And if you did want to change the text, double clicking it in the edit functionality, and then just change it and you know, typing what you need. So that's now in place. So there's a couple of different couple of the different widget options. You also have the ability to add shortcuts. So imagine that as just a link. So this could be a link to, again, any resource. So I showed you earlier that you can link through from widgets or images, but this would just be, you know, a direct link. So you'd simply just click add shortcut, and then you can link to a website, an attachment, or even a Smartsheet item. So if I was to click that, I'm going to link that to the datasheet. So I'm going to call that a thoughtful title. So we could call this useful links, and you can leave that as it is, or you can add some additional text. So this is where the data for the dashboard comes from. Now, of course, that doesn't look particularly good, but it can be useful. So to add that kind of context. So yeah, you might need to change your formatting, but that's a clickable link. So whenever you click that, if I hit save, someone clicks on this, it's going to take you through to that sheet. So very useful, very, very useful. So people can understand, you know, where you're getting your data, what makes this up. So that's also good to have or to know. And if you click the layout, you can change how it basically looks. So side by side, you've got the kind of icon followed by the link. Stacked means you get the icon above. Again, you can remove the title if you wanted and change any formatting options. So that is that. So that's our shortcut. Right, next up, I want to make that. I actually want to remove the. What am I doing here? So double click. I actually want to remove that. I think that looks pretty messy. Right, so there's our useful links. So next up, so that's another widget type just to kind of be aware of, and I would recommend using. So so far we've got a title, we've got an image, and we've got rich text, and we've got shortcut. So we've got 3 left to kind of walk through. Report. So actually, we'll move on to report in a minute. We won't do that just yet. I'm gonna go back on myself there, and I will look at that in a minute, and I'll tell you, and you'll soon find out why. Next, we're going to do metrics. So I want to basically, so it says here, provide meaningful data. So really what you want to do here is you want to provide some key metrics of your project. So it could be, you know, it could be something like project completion, or it could be something like something progress orientated. It could be, you know, amount of products you're selling, you know, number of items sold. It could be financials. It could be anything where you want to basically analyze data. So before I put this in, actually, I'm going to go back to so I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go back to my calculation sheet. So at the moment, I don't have any kind of summation of my data. So what I want to do really is I want to work out, this is an example by the way, I want to work out, so we've got different items in this dummy data sheet. So we've got pencil, binder, what else have we got in here? We've got desk, pen set, and I think that's it. So the options are pencil, binder, pen set, pencil, binder, I've got to try and remember these, pencil, binder, pen set, and desk. Is it desk? Yes. So if I copy these, if I go back, I'm going to forget these, I know I am, but I'm going to go into the calculation sheet. So let's say, for instance, I want to calculate the items. So I'm going to do item count, bold. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm just going to change the formatting because I want this to be some kind of heading. So that's what I'd recommend in your calculation sheet. You kind of set out, you want your calculation sheet to be quite easy to see and use. You don't want to confuse things. So keep everything kind of separated and kind of give titles to the different areas. So for instance, we're going to do, and I'm going to indent these as well, so that when I click here, you can kind of open and expand, and it just makes things easier. So they're the three I remembered. I'm sorry I missed one out, but you know what? I think it was pen set. It could be pen set, but it doesn't matter. That's besides the point. What I'm going to do here now is I want to create some data to display on my dashboard. So for instance, I'm going to be in that list there, I'm going to be counting how many pencils we have, how many binders we have, and how many desks we have. So this is where you need to use formulas. So I'll drop a link down below in the comments, or sorry, in the description, that takes you through to Smartsheet's full list of functions, or formulas if you like, and that will show you how you need to set up your formulas to get the calculations you need. But in the context of this demo, and to, you know, losing my words at the moment, in the interest of time, I won't run through all of the different options. I'll just be doing this as the example. So what I want to do is equals, so this is going to be a count if, and now it's asking me for the range. So where does it want me to count? So it's going to be in another sheet. So I need to click reference another sheet. It's going to be in the data sheet. So this will be the sheet that you're familiar with that I've just discussed. I'm going to click the item column, left click there. Now I'm going to reference this. So I'm going to call this item. So item range, for instance, that can be anything you like. Insert the reference. Now I need to specify what I want it to count, or in other words, the criterion. So I'm going to put pencil, or you can click here as well. You can do both. Hit enter. 13. So we've got 13 pencils in that full list. We have, and if I drag this down, it's going to copy the formula down. But I need to change this to the correct item. If I was doing it this way. Another way would be, I believe you can do it by, instead of using the word, you can use the cell. So if I do the criterion as this, and that will mean when I drag it down, you don't need to change it. So that's quite handy to know. It's kind of two ways of doing it. So here we go, save. If I go back, I actually do need the other one. It was pen set. Oh dear. So it was pen set. I'm going to indent this. I hope I'm not doing this too quickly for you. If I drag this down, so that's already calculated. This is obviously going to be 3 because it's going to say desk exactly. So we need to change that to pen set. Now what I can do is I can do a grand total. So equals total. No, what am I talking about? That's not the formula. It's equals sum. So I want to calculate all those together. So now I know that in that list we have 38 items. Okay. Now what you could do, I'm actually going to remove this just because it's actually no, I'm going to replace it over the top because that's probably the better formula to use. So now I have 38 total items. Now we could probably work out a percentage. So equals that divided by that. click this, I'm going to want this as a percentage and drag it down. I hope. Don't know what that is, but it didn't like it. Okay, the reason why dragging down didn't work was because it's changed the reference. So so the calculation I did was 13 divided by 38, and that was in row 3 divided by row 7 basically. When I've dragged that down, it's done row 4 divided by row 8, and because nothing's in row 8, it can't do the calculation. So what you can do is put a $sign in front of the cell you want to remain static, and if I drag this down now, hopefully it should work. Didn't work. Okay, I've put the $sign in the wrong place. See, I've been using Smartsheet for years and I still get it wrong. So there we go. So that should equal 100%, and it does. So another little tip, bottom right, you can kind of, it does the summary for you. So anyway, so what I've done here is I've created percentages. So I now know that out of 38 items, 34% of them are pencils, 39% of them are binders, 8% are desks, and 18% are pen sets. Now, save this up. Now, if we head back to our dashboard. So if I go into the dashboard, edit, add widget, we want a metric, okay, add data. Now here, we go into our calculation sheet. Now I want to show, for instance, number of items. So we're going to go here. Okay, so we want this. I like to use stacked. I think stacked's much visually, it's much better visually. So I'm going to say total items. And then what we can do here, and you can, obviously there's loads of formatting. You can change how it kind of looks in there. You can change where the label's at the top or whatever. I quite like it at the top actually. When you click in here, you can change the size. So I want this nice and big. This is our total items, big. And you can change the color, red. We're going to go red. This is quite important, this one. And then what you can also do is, so we've got our title. No, we don't want a title on this one. We'll just call this items. And we don't want any action, so let's save that quickly, and then I'm going to go back and I want to edit. So there's our total items there, and what am I looking for here? I'm not in the data source, so that's that one. What's this here? Widget settings. Okay. What's here? Okay, so I'm actually going to change that. It doesn't look very good visually, does it? So we're going to call that total items, and I'm going to remove the heading. We don't want that. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. So we want that one, but we want to remove this. So all I've done there is basically clicked in there and I've clicked backspace or delete, and it's got rid of it. So there we go, we've got total items. Now we can create another widget. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy it and paste it. So right click, paste, and then we've got exactly the same here. That just makes things quicker. You've got exactly the same size and shape and formatting. So I'm going to call this pencils. And then what I'll do here is I'd left click and I'm going to change the data source, and I'm just going to click pencil, and I'm going to click this cell here. And then when I do that, oh, what have I done here? What have I done? Okay, I added it to the original widget. Okay, so we've got pencils here. So now we know that out of 30 items, 13 are pencils. As you just saw there, might have been a bit of a mistake, but what you can actually do, and this is actually what I was trying to do originally, to be honest, is you can add various different metrics to one widget. So what you would do there is if I click change, we can add OK, we can go change, we can go OK, and you see them adding in. So yeah, it depends how you want to display your data really. You can have separate widgets for each kind of metric you want to show, or you can have them all in one. I mean, all in one works quite well. It's quite visual. It's visually good, but Sometimes you want to separate them out. So yeah, up to you. I'm kind of glad that happened actually, because you can kind of see. So now in this kind of version, you'd probably need something like items, and you'd need to give this, a heading, total items. You'd give this something like pencils. You get the kind of gist of it really. The other thing we can now do is, and if you want to remove one out, I should say, you basically click the little delete icon. So if you don't want pencils in there anymore, or this one anymore, just click the delete. Save. Always remember to save. Right. Next up, so I'm going to delete this actually, don't want you anymore. We can also pull in the percentages. So I want this one. So stacked percentage of items. So you get the kind of idea here. You create your formulas, you create the summary of data you want to show, and then you basically just point the dashboard to where it is in Smartsheet. Very, very simple, and you can change obviously all of you can change all of your formatting and how it kind of shows on the dashboard. And look, if I do this, it's very responsive. You can make it as big as you want. There's 4 different, these four different font types, so you get the gist of it. So these are the kind of things you can do. It's really, really useful. I've kind of showed you the summary of how you can summarize data, but one thing you can do, and this is actually a relatively recent addition to Smartsheet. It was actually something that I didn't realize until the other day, and it kind of cropped up, and I was quite pleased because you couldn't do this before, is you can actually go into the datasheet directly, and you can just pull in information if you wanted to. So you could just pull in, let's just say I want to show this. I just want to show the first 3 rows. So you can select all of it, click OK, and it's just going to bring it in. Look at that. So really useful. You can just bring data directly in from a data sheet if you wanted to. Probably not the best way, but it is something that you can do, especially if you're looking to bring in, I probably shouldn't have brought all that information in. What would be better in that kind of instance would be, adding a particular field. So let's say you want to just bring in the total for the Jones, the rep from the East. You could just click that, and then you could just put Jones rep East. Repeat it again because I didn't do it right. Rep East. So there we go. That's another example. Okay, so we're getting through them now. That's the kind of metrics. As I say, I would really recommend you can become familiar with formulas. They're going to save so much time. And when it comes to dashboards as well, one of the benefits of using formulas is, let's say I go back. I'm just going to quickly go back. You want your dashboards to be responsive. You don't want to keep updating your dashboard, and that's why this kind of what do you call it? Sorry, this is why rich text isn't ideal, because you're going to be constantly updating your dashboards. If you use formulas, when you make changes, so these formulas, for instance, save this. This is real time. It's a calculation, so it's going to keep updating. If you make changes to your underlying data sheet, so if I put another binder in here, pencil, and save, when I go back to the calculation sheet, the numbers are going to change. And as a result, the dashboard will update. So your dashboard, you create it once and it's constantly updating. You can provide the link to your stakeholders and you never have to touch it again, unless you obviously want changes. So that would be a top tip of mine, especially with a dashboard in Smartsheet. So yeah, work with formulas, become familiar with them. There's quite a few. If I whack in here, actually, functions. If you Google Smartsheet functions, there's a functions list, and it provides all of them, in one list. And you can contact Smartsheet, and they're very good. They will help you with any formulas you have, especially if they're complex. They're slightly different to Excel, the formulas in Smartsheet, but they're also quite similar. So they use a similar kind of methodology, but they're not exactly the same. So if you were to copy an Excel formula into Smartsheet, you'll probably find they won't work. But you do have, the common and popular lookups as well. Like you've got a VLOOKUP, for instance. yeah, there's a lot of good formulas in here. Become familiar with these and build out your calculation sheets. I really would recommend that. So we're nearly there. The last thing I want to show you here today, and I can do more of these videos if they're useful. If you hit the like button, it tells me that they were, and I can create more videos like this. So please hit the like button. It does show me that this is useful for you. If I click the chart, this is the last one. So this for me makes dashboards fantastic. So what you can do here is you can create charts that just display data so lovely. So I'm going to select the data I want. So again, back to the calculation sheet, because it has the numbers I want it to have. The data sheet doesn't have this summarized data, so you really do need the calculation sheet for a chart. So I'm going to click OK, and as you'll see, look at that, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's already kind of pre-done. I could leave it like that if I really wanted, but we are going to make some changes now just to make it look a little bit better. So you can obviously all of these are like these are togs, so you can just like tog them on or off. Take that off if you like. You can switch the rows and columns, so there you go, that looks much better. And yeah, you can change the title, you can change the axis, the name of the axis, the vertical axis, the legend. You can do everything, and again go through to the data source, or if I just click that and hit save, now when I click this, it's going to go through to the calculation sheet. And then people, that way, if you've got stakeholders who want to know how you're coming to your conclusions or your metrics, and they can click it, and they can actually, so long as you share the sheet, of course, then they can actually see, the calculations you're running. So they can almost, instead of coming to you and saying, oh, I don't agree with this, I don't know how you got to this, then you can just say, click on the widget, go and see for yourself. And if we need changes, we can make them. But so this is the chart, and something to kind of consider here is there's various different chart types, I believe. So actually, I'll do it on here. Edit data and chart types. So chart type. So at the bottom there, column is the kind of the one that will kind of populate automatically. But there's so many different options. So we've got a line. It doesn't look particularly good on this one, does it? Bar, stacked bar, pie if you like your pies, donuts if you like your donuts. So yeah, whether you like pies or donuts, you can have them. It's really good. So and that can be done with a simple switch. And sometimes you might want both. You might want this and a donut, or a combination of the two. So, and let's just change this to pie pencil, anything you want. That looks ridiculous, but you see what I'm saying. Now, I want to get rid of this. This is annoying. How do I get rid of this? Top right, of course. Delete. Okay. I'm actually going to move this to make it kind of, a little bit nicer. Let's whack that over there. Whack that there. Let's just put that there. So this is what I'm just trying to show you here. Really, is that that this is so responsive. You can put anything wherever you like, drag it and drop. You can even drop it on top, and it will just move everything around. Obviously, that can be a little bit annoying, because look what I've just done. I've just completely messed it up. But you get the idea. It's it's very good. And what I like to do, obviously, is line everything up, so that when you save it, it does present itself really well. Like you can see that there when all the boxes are removed. So for instance, if you shove that there, it looks ridiculous, but then when you make sure the boxes are lined up, it looks really good. So, don't want to share it. Okay, so nearly there. I've just remembered there is one more, and that's a report. So I haven't created a report, I don't think, for this. But basically, if you're not familiar with reports, they enable you to pull data from various different sheets together. And you can display them. Once they're created, you can display them on the dashboard. So I'm going to click Add Report. I've got one that came through as part of that template set that I was mentioning earlier in the Solution Center. I think it's all the project milestones. So if I click OK, yeah, it's going to show all those milestones. So here we go, I've pulled this report in, and as you'll see, it just shows it in a really good way. And you've got the Gantt as well, so it can be a really good way of just showing some further detail. And if you've got stakeholders who want to know timeframes or risks, issues, those kind of thing, then a report is definitely the way to bring them in. If I quickly, I'm actually going to, for the purpose of finding where it is, I'm going to go to the data source. If I click save, now that's what it would look like on a dashboard. If you left click now, because I've set up that kind of flow through automation, this basically is the report itself. So what was just happening up the top there was the report builder, and I've just kind of skipped through that. But here you can see the report that's been built, and actually I probably should have gone through that. So the sheet it's coming from the project plan sheet in the template set. I've selected all these columns to kind of come through. Well, I didn't, Smartsheet did as part of the template. And then there's some filters on it as well. And once this is set up and saved, then when you pull it through to the dashboard, you'll see it kind of come through. Obviously this can change, so we can bring in new columns. Let's just bring loads in just to show you what it looks like. So I've brought all these columns in, hidden by the Gantt. And if I were to save it and go back to the dashboard, then you should see them all coming through as well. So one thing to consider is if you want to update your report on your dashboard, you need to go into the underlying report itself and make the changes there and save it, and that should bring it through. And I think that's it really. I hope this dashboard tutorial and demo was useful. If you have any questions on any part of this, do drop a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to help you and discuss some of your individual context. If you've got something you can't build, you don't know how to do it, let me know and I'll try and help as best I can. And as I say, hopefully I'll bring some more of these dashboard tutorials out in the future as well. If you do like this video, then please hit the like button. It helps me know that I'm on the right tracks here with this channel, and that it is useful and people find value in it. And if it was extra helpful, then do subscribe to my channel, as I will be releasing, as I say, other videos like this related to Smartsheet and project management. So yeah, if you subscribe, then you'll be then you can stay up to date and watch those latest videos. So with that said, I hope you have an excellent day.